few weeks ago I filmed a video. The title of it was Best SUV in the World ? And I did that because so many YouTubers put these things, the LX470 and the Land Cruiser 100 series, on their YouTube channel and call it the best SUV in the world. I added a little bit of satire into mine because I live in Dallas, Texas, and I have a vehicle that's capable of traveling the globe reliably, and it just does seem a little bit ridiculous. So this video I'm actually going to call the not overland build. In that video I made a joke saying I was going to create an overlander. I'm not going to create an overlander, but I am going to do some things to it to make it fit my lifestyle. I want to get one thing out of the way real quick. This video is going to jump around a little bit. It might not have the greatest continuity. I have filmed it 2.5, almost 3 times now, because some of my footage has not been uploaded to the computer properly and it looked terrible. And so I'm doing it over and over again due to technical difficulties. So that's the number one reason. Number two, I'm just terrible at YouTube because I'm brand new to it. So novice YouTuber here, and just bear with me. Promise it'll make sense as we go along. So the ethos of this vehicle. Yeah, I said I'm not going to do an overland build, but that's clearly a giant overlander bumper. Where I travel, where I go, I don't go camping. I'm not going to put a rooftop tent of this. I'd rather enjoy sleeping inside. But where we go, kind of camp, kind of go to cabins, a lot of it's backcountry roads. And the backcountry roads are littered with deer and livestock and all sorts of things that very high potential that will hit them. I can't travel more than an hour down these roads without seeing 2 or 3 dead deer on the road. If I hit a deer with this, it's going to beat it up, it's going to dent it, it's going to bend, but I should be able to get home. It's going to protect the radiator, it's going to protect a lot of components inside that will allow me to at least get home and won't ruin my trip. Number 2, and the most important reason, is it looks cool and I can put my lights on it. Honestly, I like having big lights. Those are KC daylighters. I'll go over those in a second. I really like having a lot of light punching forward as I'm going down the road. I have terrible eyes, and you can see that I've even put the yellow or orange film over top of mine because I don't really like the LEDs a whole lot, that kind of bluish tint. I like closer to the halogen, the originals, and so this gets pretty close to it and still draws low amperage. So let me walk you around it just a little bit more, show you some of the things I've done, and then I'll talk about some of my plans. This is the Cali raised switch right here. It fits into the dash beautifully. It looks pretty factory. So when I pull the high beam switch, my high beams are activated as normal. Nothing other than a normal car. When this switch is activated here, and I pull the high beams, then they all come on, and you can see it's lit here. So I can run down the road just like this with the high beams on all the time. And then when there's a car approaching, I can pull and just disable all the high beams and just run my low beams as normal. Turn it off, and then it's just normal high beams. So here we have the Ironman 4x4 bumper. It comes in a giant pallet. It's wrapped. It took literally 30 minutes to unwrap it. There was so much material wrapped around it, plastic foam, everything to protect it. And it did a good job because there really weren't any scratches. The only scratches that are on it, I put on it when I was installing. Installing is a challenge if you're by myself. I put it on all by myself. It's a heavy bumper. It weighs, I think, with the winch plate and the bumper, everything combined, it's about 160, 170 pounds. The pallet with everything on it was about 200 pounds. I'll touch on the weight here in a second with the suspension, but it's heavy, weighs about 160 some odd pounds. And one thing to note about that is I will be taking it to a specialist because it has the AHC, automatic height control. It's a hydraulic system, and that hydraulic system was intended to have just the normal weight of the car on it. And I've added 160 pounds to the front of this thing, so that's going to be under a little bit more load. Now, this runs on torsion bar suspension. So they can essentially put it on their computer, see what the pressures are, and then adjust the torsion bars in the front of the vehicle to compensate for it. It won't be perfect, but it will help not prematurely wear out the AHC system. And the AHC on this truck works phenomenally well, and I'd really like to keep it. It comes with, and I like this, it comes with fog lights, it comes with the turn signals, it comes with all the mounting bracket you need, it comes with every bit of hardware. There's absolutely nothing that you need other than the tools required to put it on, and it's actually not that challenging. If you have a friend, it'd be much easier to put on. So it's going to be a little bit hard to tell, but right in here I've painted this section of metal black. So it was white, it matched the body color, and I've painted it black because when I put the bumper on first, you had this glaring white around the edge, and it looked terrible. So I took the bumper off, painted all that black. I think it looks fantastic. It's powder coated black, good smooth powder coat job. It's very well built underneath, you can see. Real heavy duty stuff. Big bracket there. It's a full box that goes around the chassis rails. That's where you'd mount your winch inside there. Getting the clearance line all the way around was a little bit difficult, but I think I did a decent job of that. Okay, something else that I did is I removed the wing, the little spoiler that goes up top there. The one that was on this when I bought it was a used one, or not used, I'm sorry, but aftermarket one. And the reason I knew that is because factory, this was here originally, and the ones from the factory that came with the spoiler didn't have a third brake light. Here it was actually mounted on the spoiler. Funny thing is the one on my spoiler wasn't working and this one was, so it was just beaming light up against the spoiler and back. They did a poor job of putting it on. There was a bolt there and another bolt over there where that screw is, and then the wire came through here. So the way I sealed these up, see if I can get close to you there. It's a pan head screw with rubber washers, and on the back side is a nut with other rubber washers, and I've just basically sandwiched them tight. So far, no water leaks. It seems to seal pretty well. And from a distance, if you're looking at it, obviously you can see, but the farther you get back from the car, the less you'll notice. And I much prefer this look here, where it just kind of falls off the back. I'm even thinking about removing the roof rack. I don't have a need for it, and like I said, I'm not going to put a tent on it. One thing I do want you guys' help on is the tires. So I think I'm going to go with the BF Goodrich all-terrains. I've had those in the past. I liked them. The thing is the sizing. So this is the 18-inch wheel that comes with it. When I bought the truck, it had some weird kind of douchebaggy looking wheels on it. So I pulled those off, and I found this guy on Craigslist had the original wheels. They're in decent shape, good enough for what I'm going to do. And I actually prefer the look. I know it's not as popular, but I like this look myself. This is running 275 60 R18s. As far as I can tell online, the biggest tire you can run, and this is where I need your help, drop it in the description if you have any experience with this, is a 275 70 R18. And if that is the biggest, that's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to make another video. I have a decibel meter. I'm going to run the car highway speeds with these tires on it, record what the decibel reads, and then I'll do another one with the all-terrain tires of the choice, probably the BF Goodrich, just because it's the most common. Because I've always wanted to know real empirical data, how much louder they are on the highway. So I'm going to make a video about that. But I would like your suggestions on the biggest tires I can run on the stock wheels with the stock suspension setup and not have any rubbing. So if you guys have that, drop it down in the description. I tried to refilm as much as I could to make this work with as much continuity as possible. I did my best on it, so again, novice YouTuber, don't really know what I'm doing, working with the cheap wireless microphone here and my iPhone. That's all I got going, and of course the truck behind me. If this takes off, I'll invest in some better equipment. But in the meantime, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, give me that subscribe, help me out here. See you next time. Put some comments down below about the tires and maybe some other ideas for videos. Thanks, guys.